Aurora is our guest at 90.7 FM and WFUV.org. Her full-length debut is called All My Demons, Greeting Me as a Friend. That's quite the title for your debut album. Welcome to WFUV, Aurora.
Thank you.
Tell us about that title. Let's start there.
Well, I think it's been in my head for a long time, and I even wrote a song about it, but it's not included on the album. It just felt right, and if I think about the reason why I write songs is to process everything I experience or see other people experience, which can feel quite heavy on your body and on your mind. And I think for all of us to experience things that can haunt us until we die, and it will reduce our life quality, if that's a way of saying it. And I think if you learn to accept all your demons, which is a quite a dramatical way of putting it, but if you learn to accept everything that's happened to you in life, it's a very important thing to do, to just accept everything, the bad and the good.
Aurora, our guest at 90.7 FM and WFUV.org. We're talking about All My Demons, Greeting Me as a Friend. So you're from Norway.
Yes.
I was actually watching a video on your site that kind of takes you behind the scenes. Are we actually seeing your home there in Norway?
Oh, yes.
Tell us a little bit about what it looks like where you are and what you love about being there.
It's very different from New York. It's very quiet, and you can sleep without being bothered by cars. There are no cars where I live almost. But lots of birds, at least in the summertime, which is it's a nice sound. I live kind of on a cliff, and there's a big ocean in front of our house, and then mountains on the other side of the mountain with snow on all year, because they're really tall mountains. It's quite inspiring. I think it's affected me a lot, being who I am today. That view is really special.
Nature seems to figure a lot into your lyrics.
Oh yes, it's one of my biggest inspirations. It's one of the most important things we have, and I care a lot about nature.
Why? Why is it important to you?
Well, it's important to everyone, just like clean air, and all the things nature can provide us. You know, we need the earth, but Mother Nature doesn't really need us, which is important to remember, I think, to respect nature. Because we're losing it more and more, and we're ruining it, many parts of it, which is quite disturbing, I think.
Let's talk about when you first discovered music. So you grew up in this amazing place, lots of natural beauty. When did music come to you? How did you discover that you loved it?
Wow. I've always loved music as long as I can remember. Always when I was a child, and if I was sick, my mom always put on like a classical piano pieces, CD or something. That always, I felt that it made me well again. And when I was around 6, I found a piano at our house, and I started playing these classical pieces myself, but by ear, because it was just a really wonderful thing to discover how you can play these pieces yourself and be in them instead of on the outside of them. So I grew very fond of playing piano, and then I started writing songs when I was around 9, I think, and since then I never stopped.
I read somewhere that you discovered all of this and started to write songs, but yet nobody knew. Like, you were doing this in complete secret. Even your family didn't know?
No, I was on a secret mission, I guess. I didn't really have the need for anyone to know. I didn't have the need to prove myself for anyone or to be on the stage even. I've never dreamed about being on the stage at all. It's one of the things I've had most issues with. But now I quite like it because it's a nice way for me to meet my fans and to actually tell my stories the way I want them to be told in real life, in front of real people. It was never a dream to have the attention around that subject. Can you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I just wrote music for myself, really.
So where was the moment that your mom and your family discovered that you were writing songs in secret?
Well, I think when I was around 14, they knew. And I played maybe sometimes in my living room because, the piano is there. But I mostly played only when I was home alone. But a few times I played for my parents and made them really happy. But I didn't quite like it that much. It made me quite uncomfortable, which I guess, it does to most of us. It's a strange thing to be that vulnerable in front of people.
How did you push yourself to continue and actually put yourself out in front of an audience? Did somebody push you, or did you push yourself?
Yeah, I got pushed, definitely. But in a nice, friendly way, of course.
Who pushed you?
Well, I don't know, the world. Just everyone else, I guess. I recorded a song in 2012, in December, which I wanted to give to my parents for a Christmas present, because I never really wanted to play for them, and I thought, it will make them happy to have an opportunity to at least listen to one song again and again. So, because they really like to listen to my music, which I understand because, they're my parents. And then one of my friends released that song online without asking me. And then I got a lot of positive feedback about that song. And I was quite angry because I didn't think the song was any good or that my voice was any good. It was just meant to be like for my parents and privately. And then my management heard that song. And then I got a message on Facebook asking me if I wanted to stop by maybe and have a chat. And I did. And then I actually thought that maybe I could write songs for other people. But I ended up writing songs for myself.
Like pop music? You were going to write pop music for other people, or just write songs for other people? And not perform them yourself?
No, it's not really about pop music or what it's called. It doesn't really have anything to say. It's just about writing songs, really. It's the emotion that's the most important thing. But, a pop can be anything. It can be deep, it can be shallow, it can be happy and sad. But it's more about just writing songs that means something.
Aurora is our guest at 90.7 FM and WFUV.org. Her debut album is titled All My Demons, Greeting Me as a Friend. My name's Carmel Holt. Let's get to music. The first song up today is one that gives me chills. It's called Murder Song. Can you set up this song for us a little bit? It's beautiful but quite dark song.
Yes, I guess it's a bit dark, and you can kind of get that by just hearing the title of the song. It's a love story, and what goes on inside the woman and the man's head is a secret. But here it is.
Aurora Oxness, our guest at 90.7 FM and WFUV.org. That's Murder Song 54321 and can be found on her full-length debut called All My Demons, Greeting Me as a Friend. I noticed seeing you perform that there's a lot of physicality to what you do. You move a lot. Were you ever a dancer?
Yes. Yes, I've been dancing since I was 6. And then I had to stop when I was 16 because I was traveling. I were traveling too much. Yeah, one of them at least. But I did dance a lot before. It's very satisfying. So did dance come before the music or the other way around? Well, I think music came first, but dancing was something I allowed myself to do in public, and I stood on many stages, not alone, but as a part of a big group. I think it's one of the most beautiful things you can do with your body and soul is to move. It feels amazing. Talk to us a little bit about writing songs. What is your creative process there? Well, it depends. It's quite a hard question, that one, because it varies. It depends what where you are and what mood you are in, and if it's dark or light outside, and if there's people around you or noises or not, and your mood, of course. But it's easy to get inspired. There are inspiration everywhere in people, in colors, in weather and sounds and noise. So it mostly just happens. It's quite strange. I find a thing I want to write about. It can be anything. And then mostly now when I'm on the road, I don't have a piano with me. Obviously, it would have been quite difficult. So I have a book, a notebook, and I don't really have any other option than to start with the lyrics. So I write poems mostly now, and then I add the melody later in my head, or if I have the piano around me sometime. But that's mostly how it happens now.
And I'm curious about writing in English. I mean, that's not your native tongue. You know, you're Norwegian. Did you learn English in school, I'm assuming?
Yes, yes.
And why did you choose to write your lyrics in English? And was that difficult for you?
I think it was mainly just because I was such a huge, or I am such a huge fan of Bob Dylan and Cohen. And I guess as a child, I even tried to write on guitar when I was young, when I was 9, because, those were my biggest heroes, and I guess I wanted to be like them. It's nice to write music that has less limits, I guess, has no borders, and it's more available for people that might need a song like that in their lives. But I will definitely write a song in Norwegian once, but I think for now it feels a bit too fragile almost.
I love your website. I spent a lot of time on it getting ready to talk to you today. And the few things I love about it, one was the vast number of videos that you've made. They all seem somehow connected. What's your relationship to making little kind of short music films like that? Do you have a concept when you go in to make them, or is somebody else providing the concepts for you? I was just curious about that.
It's mostly quite clear or for me at least, what the song is about. And for me, the visuals should definitely point out what I want my supporters or listeners at least to see or to hear in the song. I guess, visuals can really help to understand the song a bit more, or to get more confused, which is also as fun. But I care a lot about my visuals, my pictures and my music videos, but I'm getting more and more bossy, I guess, because I was very young when I was signed by my record companies and management. And
how old were you? 17?
16, 17, yeah, around that. So,
and you're 19 now?
Yes, 19. So it's getting more and more clear, because at first I only wanted to write music, and that's still the main thing for me. But I understand more and more how everything else comes along and is as equally important as the music itself.
Aurora's our guest at 90.7 FM and WFUV.org. Her full-length debut album is called All My Demons, Greeting Me as a Friend. Let's get back to music. The next song up is Conqueror.
Yeah.
Introduce your band for us today.
Yes. On the drums and vocals, backing vocals, we have Magnus Skilstad, which I guess is quite hard to say on English. Skilstad, yes. He's from Bergen as well. He's wonderful. And then there's Martin. He's also a solo artist, and he's on the guitar and on backing vocals as well.
How did you connect with those guys?
They're both signed with the same management as me. Martin as an artist and Magnus as a producer. So it was kind of a coincidence. I think it was after a year being signed by Made management. I was doing my first festival and I didn't have a band. And we were kind of just putting people together randomly. And we stayed a band. And we're still a band today. It was quite a weird process. It feels like it was meant to be, and I'm very happy that I have them with me when I travel. They're wonderful people.
Do you have any goals, any visions for where you want to take this?
No, not at all, actually. Because everything that's happened until now has been very unexpected and not really like a dream. But it is a dream now, of course, because I'm happy that I can do what I love to do every day and every night as well, kind of in some way. So my only hope is just to keep going and have fun and learn and to discover people and places and myself as well, and just keep going. I'm quite happy as things are now. I don't need anything more or anything less. I'm just I'm quite happy.
What about before we close? I had mentioned about the two things about your website that I particularly loved: Warriors and Weirdos.
Yes.
Was that your invention?
Yes. I didn't understand it at first, but all my fans kept asking me, what are we and what do you call us? And I thought, I didn't know that you had to call your fan base anything, but I guess, I didn't want them to be like AURORA or something, because they're all just individual people that happens to understand my music. And I thought that it would be a very nice thing to be able to call yourself a warrior, because we all are warriors in different ways. Some of us fight small fights every day or big fights every day, and I guess it's just a really nice thought for me to have fans being able to call themselves warriors. It's so strong and so true, and I hope people really feel that they are warriors now and a part of a family. And Weirdos is just because it shouldn't be a bad thing. It shouldn't be a bad word. It can be something beautiful.
Aurora, thank you so much for joining us today at WFUV. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Before you go, I would love for you to pick a song, any song, to take us out with today. Play DJ. What would you like to play?
I would love you to show everyone an amazing song. I really absolutely adore it, especially now. It's become my theme song, and it's called Image Autumn Womb by Goldman.
Thanks again to Aurora.
Thank you.